Hi everyone, it's Trishna, and today I want to talk to you about creating your reality versus controlling your reality and having aligned manifestations versus ego manifestations. So I know for me, there have been many times in my manifestation journey and life where I was able to manifest many of my desires and very quickly. However, I often would find myself in a game of whack-a-mole where basically I would manifest it and then I feel like I kind of have to keep manifesting it, or I would manifest something and then there'd be another little problem and then I have to manifest around that, and then another one have to manifest around that, and then another one have to manifest around that. And essentially it felt like the things that I was manifesting were happening very quickly, but it somehow wasn't really sustainable. It wasn't always very long lasting. In contrast to some of my other manifestations that were very long lasting, that created like this very peaceful life that just kind of started to take care of itself. And what I've come to realize is that the manifestations that don't seem to last, or it feels like you're always having to do damage control, or you're always having to re-manifest for it, those are manifestations that are coming more from the ego, from the desire to control a scenario. And the desires that seem to kind of take care of themselves, or it's like one and done kind of thing, and then the area of your life just tends to be calmer and start to flow and just feel really good. Those areas of your life, those manifestations are more from an aligned place. Those are your soul desires that you are bringing into your reality. Now, an easy way to tell what your desire is going to be, where it is coming from before you even set out to start manifesting it, is to understand what the driver of your manifestation desire is. If it is something around fear, maybe there's a meeting, or maybe you work in an environment that is very fear-based, and a lot of your meetings you tend to just get yelled at for one reason or another, maybe things that aren't really your fault. You may have a tendency in that situation, if you're doing a lot of manifestation work, to manifest before each meeting that it goes well. And before every single meeting, you may have a feeling like, oh, I really need to manifest around this again. And so you're playing this game of whack-a-mole. Every single meeting, you're doing this manifestation work. Now, maybe you don't actually need to do the manifestation work around that. Maybe the one time is all good, but you feel like you need to. There is a sense of fear or anxiety or impending doom that is making you want to manifest around this. Maybe you have a partner that you're interested in, and every time that you guys are going to meet up, you want to make sure that it goes really well. You don't just trust that everything's going to be okay. Each time you feel this anxiety of wanting to make sure that the event, the date, the stay over, whatever it is, goes really well, that fights are minimized. All of this is coming from this need to control a scenario, this need to control, to relieve anxiety, to relieve fear. Whereas a more aligned version may be not to make a specific event go well, but to feel good about yourself and the work that you do, to feel good and proud about what you have accomplished, to feel really connected in a relationship with another person. So you see, the ego desires tend to be around physical things, external things that we're trying to manifest to be a specific way. I need this meeting to go well. I need this presentation to go well. I need this client to purchase this. I need my date to go really well with this person. I need us to not fight this time around because everything might blow up if we do. Versus, I want to have a really good time. I want to feel really good about myself, right? Those aligned desires are desires that are about the internal experience that we want to have as we go about our external world. Now, if you focus on these aligned soul desires, you will have a lot of the ego, if not all of the ego desires that you want. You will have the happy relationship. You will have meetings that go well for you basically every single time. But when you focus on the external fear-based manifestation, you're really only hitting the surface. And that's why it feels like it comes up again, the same fear, having to work on self-worth over and over again in the same area of life. It keeps coming up because you're only dealing with it on the surface layer with regards to a scenario, an event, a person. But if you instead go deeper and want to work on your self-worth, not in order to feel confident to do a presentation or to work on your self-worth, to know that you're worthy of love, which are all external things, to be able to receive love, external things, but rather because I just want to feel good about myself. I want to feel safe. I want to feel comfortable. I want to feel at ease in my body. If you go down to that level, if you go down to the internal experience that you want to feel, well, you're no longer just focusing on the surface, you're focusing on that root desire. And so everything above it starts to shift. And so even the surface results start to shift as well. So a lot of times we really want to focus on that egoic desire, thinking that that is what is going to bring us joy. And it can, right? Like when it shows up, these things manifest. They manifest. The ego desires will manifest, and they will manifest very quickly. But it's that game of whack-a-mole, having to do it over and over and over again, because you're not dealing with that root fear or anxiety or looking at the desire from a different angle. Because see, you're getting the same desire, getting the same end result, but it's about what is your driver for it. Is it the fear and anxiety that then causes you to focus on the surface level manifestations? Or is it how you want to feel, what you want to experience that gets you the same end result, that's about the same situation, but tackles it from that deeper soul perspective, right? The soul wants to be fulfilled. It wants to have a joyful, happy, expansive life here. A lot of people believe that life is about suffering, but it's not. It's about learning, it's about growing, and it's about joy and fulfillment, right? The suffering is not for the sake of suffering. The suffering is not because you or someone else has sinned, right? The suffering is our perception of something. It's our perception of something, is how, a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times about how we choose to feel about something. But we can look at that same thing and choose to look at it from a different angle and feel completely differently about it. So as you start to manifest, think about, what is my driver? Is this fear? Am I trying to control an external scenario? And is it coming from fear and anxiety? And is this something that I feel like I have to keep doing because I don't believe it will last? Or is it something that I feel really good about, or like it's an internal experience that I really want to have? Because when we have those internal experiences, once we've kind of done that a few times, or even just one time, manifesting it just one time, we don't worry about it anymore. It's not a thing that even occurs to us to manifest again, because it's just become a part of our soul fulfillment. When we focus on these internal experiences, we're healing our soul, we're activating it, we're making it stronger, more powerful, and we're radiating our aura even more powerfully to attract our desires to us just as quickly as the egoic desires, sometimes even faster, right? Because we're really getting at that root, at that foundation. So think about that as you try to attract things into your life. Are you trying to shape your reality and the kinds of feelings you want to have and the experiences you want to have? Or are you trying to control your reality? Do you need things to work out in a specific way? Do you need a specific person? Do you need a specific outcome from this particular meeting? Or are you okay with having the meeting go whichever way it will, not needing to get a specific end result, but knowing that down the line it will become what you want because you feel safe in your soul, you're excited about the internal experience that you're feeling from it. So yeah, because when we really focus on making a situation very specific, like specific person, I see this a lot in the law of assumption community. They're always trying to manifest a specific person. But when you believe that there is a specific person and you must control reality to get that specific person, that's a very limited way of thinking about the world. The world has so much to offer. There could be somebody out there that doesn't require all this manifestation work, but that comes in, that's truly in alignment with you, that brings you joy, and it's just so much easier. Because when you think that there's just that one person, then you have to manifest them being there. And that's possible, but then you have to manifest every single one of their traits because they're not really aligned to you, because you're kind of forcing it, right? You're controlling reality. And then it's just a game of whack-a-mole. There's an issue here, there's this characteristics, now they're doing this, they weren't doing this before, and now they are. versus just being like, I want a relationship that gives me joy, that gives me happy. I want to be with somebody that, you know, I just trust so much and I feel so connected to, right? Those are like soul desires. That feels good as you say it. It doesn't feel like you're trying to control it. It opens you up. Oh, that would be so good. That would feel so amazing. And just expand your body, right? Like I'm opening up as I'm saying that, instead of being like, I need to have this specific thing, this specific person, gonna will it, gonna make it happen, right? It's constricted, very constrictive. So that can also tell you if your desire is more surface layer and it's gonna be a whack-a-mole, not sustainable, having to keep working at it forever, or if it's gonna be something that is expansive and open and just opens you up to receiving more and more and more and more, instead of restricting you to being like, there's only so much that you can get unless you put in a lot of work. So yeah, and even if you're in a relationship and maybe there's an argument that you're having, if you're trying to fix the problem, fix the argument, fix that scenario, that is also more egoic, right? Versus being like, I want to manifest us understanding each other, us learning more about each other, us discovering each other, us resolving things together in really fun and productive ways. Oh, expansive, right? And then instead of having to control every single fight, right? Because you're not dealing with the root issue, the soul desire, you're dealing with this fight, then there's this fight, then there's this fight. That's all surface level things, right? Instead of doing that, you're focusing on the expansive thing. And then every issue that comes up, it's fun, it's enjoyable. You're both learning, you're growing, you're getting closer together after every single one. And you're not worried about them. You're not trying to control the scenario or prevent it or manifest, you know, don't want to fight, come up. You're okay, you're in flow, right? And things just are so much easier and more joyful, and you guys get to really enjoy life. So if you're trying to control reality, if you need specific things to work out, just understand that it's coming more from an ego place. And yes, you can manifest it, and yes, you're going to get results, but it's going to be a game of whack-a-mole, right? It's going to be something that you always have to work and manifest towards, versus if you really connect to that deeper part of yourself, the internal experience that you want, the same desires, but from this angle of, you know, what do I want to feel from it versus what do I need in the external world to be? You know, what do I need to be? If you come at it from this more expansive place, then it's going to be long lasting. You know, maybe at work you want to be a rock star, you know, like I want to be a rock star. That may come from a place of feeling like you need validation from the external reality. I need everybody to know that I'm amazing. This is the only way I can feel proud of myself is if everybody sees me as a rock star. Okay, you can manifest that. That will happen. But you'll always have to keep proving yourself, because that's what the driver is. Whereas if you instead focus on, I want to feel really proud of the work that I do. I want to feel really good about myself. I want to learn as much as I can, and I want to expand who I am and my skill set and see all that I am capable of. That's the internal experience that you are deciding that is not related to anybody else. It's what I want. When you do that, you will be the rock star in other people's eyes, but it will be sustainable because you've changed the internal story, the internal desire. You're connecting with that soul fulfillment. So focus on the soul fulfillment. If you get that, if you focus on that, you can get all the ego desires that you want, but it'll be long lasting. You'll be more open to whatever package it wants to come in. You won't be needing a specific person. You'll want an experience, and you'll call in the person that is aligned to that experience in their core, instead of somebody that you're kind of forcing to be that way with manifestation after manifestation after manifestation, right? You just call in that person. And then when there are arguments with that person, you align on what you really want. What's the experience you want with this person in these kinds of disagreements? When you focus on that instead of trying to fix the problem, then there will be fewer arguments. You'll connect better. You will recover faster, heal faster. Just telling you guys, if you want life to be easy, focus on that internal experience that you want. Focus on shaping your reality, allowing the universe to step into who is going to be there, what the experience will be like in the external, because you've defined it more internally, but you're shaping it, you're influencing it, you're not forcing it, you're not trying to manipulate it, you're not trying to control it, you're not needing specifics to happen in a specific timeline. Just expansive, and then you just receive, and the timeline that you want will work out probably even faster, right? Because you're just relaxed. All right. I hope this was helpful. Thank you guys as always for watching. Please give me a subscribe. Please hit that like button. Let me know if you have any questions about manifestation. Check out my psychic readings. Check out my law of attraction playlist. Check out my light codes and spiritual activation course. All of those resources are available to you. And I will catch you in the next video.